When we think of a loved one that has passed, we surely do miss that person and wish we could see them or talk to them one more time. Some people will go an extra length to try and communicate with them again, but it's best to just let it go because you might open up a portal that will allow something into this world and that thing will refuse to go back from wherever they came from, no matter how hard you try. There's this adage that says, let sleeping dogs lie, which means just leave things the way they are. Today's story will be of one of such cases. Before I get into that story, if you're joining us for the first time and you love the true, dark, and scary stories, well, you just found the right channel. Welcome to the Dark Past, where I'll be bringing you one or two stories every week. So please do sit back, relax, and enjoy today's story. Estefania Gutierrez Lazaro was an 18-year-old Madrid-born teenager living with her family in an apartment in Vallecas, Spain. Estefania and the rest of her siblings attended Catholic school. Estefania was the third out of 6 children. By all accounts, she lived a normal life until one day everything changed. Some time ago, one of Estefania's friends had lost her boyfriend in a motorcycle accident. These girls, feeling so sad about this and had missed their friend's boyfriend, decided to communicate with him through seance using a Ouija board. A Ouija board is a medium which is used to communicate with the dead or some kind of entity. The Ouija board has on it written words and figures, and on one side it has yes, and the other side it has no. It comes with a token. You place candles around the Ouija board, you put your fingers on the token and say whatever words are needed to be said. Then you ask a question. Now the token mysteriously moves from yes to no, or in between the letters to spell out a word or a sentence. Estefania has been obsessed with the occult. She brought the Ouija board to school and with the rest of her friends, 3 of them, went to the back of the school in an open field to perform this ritual. While doing this, a nun walked in on them, found out what they were doing, and broke the Ouija board. Suddenly, a white smoke spewed out of the shards, and Estefania simultaneously inhaled the smoke through her mouth and her nose before falling into a seizure. A couple of days later, Estefania was at home in the apartment. Then she began to notice dark shadows moving around the house, which make themselves visible to her before vanishing. She began to suffer from insomnia, hallucination, and epileptic seizures. She would be sleeping at night and be visited by strange human forms with no face, putting on a cloak, asking her to come with them. At times she would be barking like a dog. She would utter words that no one could understand. She would be levitated, tossing around, slamming into walls. She had posters in her room. The posters were being ripped off, and when you look at the wall where the poster had been, you will see scratches of 3 claws. This torment kept on going on for 3 weeks. I really wonder why her parents wouldn't have by now gone to look for help from a church, probably have a priest being sent to the house to perform some kind of exorcism, but they didn't. On the 13th of July 1991, Estefania viciously attacked her younger sister, Marianela, who ended up on the floor with foam coming out of her mouth. Estefania's parents now took her to a hospital. The doctors could not ascertain, determine, or establish the cause of her illness. On the 14th of July 1991, the very next day, Estefania suffered a serious attack of catalepsy and was rushed to the hospital in a state of coma. That night, Estefania was found dead on her hospital bed. After Estefania died, the paranormal activity in the Gutierrez home escalated. Her mother would be sleeping at night and hear the screaming voice of Estefania calling her from different rooms. She would see objects move randomly in the house, glasses are breaking without explanation, she will hear the laughter of an old man crossing the hall. Doors were opening and closing on their own. One night, while she was sleeping, she felt someone touching her feet and her hands. The other night, she heard the kids screaming from her room. When she ran in there, she saw them terrified and their hands were those banging against the wall. On the 1st of November 1992, a year after Estefania had died, her picture hanging on the wall in the living room fell and suddenly was set on fire. The only part that got burnt was the part depicting her face. The frame and other objects nearby showed no sign of damage. Now the parents had to call the police. They called the police on the 27th of November. When the police got there, Inspector Jose Nagri and his team found the parents outside in the rain, terrified. Some officers stayed with the parents, while some went up to their apartments. And when they got into the apartment, they were shocked at what they were seeing. The apartment was in a total mess. Suddenly, a door to a wardrobe swung open, almost hitting one of the policemen in the face. And that wardrobe had just been inspected by the same policeman, and he had made sure he had locked it. They heard screams from the balcony. On getting to the balcony, there was no one there. There was the bedside table, which had a strange brown, slimy substance on it, suddenly started to spread. There was a crucifix hanging on the wall, which they just passed some few minutes later, before they got into the apartment, was now on the floor and had been ripped from the wood which it had been mounted. On the wall where the crucifix had been were scratches of 3 claws indicating that had been ripped off the wall violently. They stepped into the bathroom where the parents had indicated had had the most paranormal activity, and immediately they felt a sudden drop in temperature. It was hot like they were in hell. What they felt was like nothing they've ever felt in their life. They ran out of their apartments, knowing fully well that there was nothing they could do for the family. The family had to move out of the apartments, and ever since then, they've had no more paranormal activity. A couple of months later, Inspector Jose Nagri requested for a transfer. We don't know, maybe it was due to what he has experienced in the Gutierrez home, or he just wanted a change of scenery. This case is one of the most famous cases of paranormal activity in Spain, which inspired the movie named Veronica. The movie does not portray the actual events of what happened to Estefania, but the movie is worth seeing. Well, that will be all for today, guys. If you enjoyed the story, please do not forget to give it a like, share, and please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of my weekly upload. Have a nice weekend, guys. Thank you. See you next time.